Before.
I think I moved it.
Oh, I thought maybe it was what I ate.
No.
But maybe I shouldn't have that extra taco.
I'm always moving the chair. Sorry, the table.
Okay. So we will start. Today
I like your nails.
Thank you. I did it myself at home.
God, I love that color. It's my favorite color.
I did it myself because I hadn't had time to go. I wanted to go to that place, but I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do the Mother's Day thing. Like I didn't want to go Friday or Saturday, and then I didn't have time to go before. So I was like, oh, I just have to do them at home. Yeah, look.
Yeah. I remember you used to bite your nails in high school.
I still do. If I don't have them painted.
Oh.
And then I start biting like the side of the skin and the side.
The cuticle.
Look at this one. I already started. Look. The damn Spurs game today. Did you see it?
No, does it work?
Oh my goodness. You're lucky. They lost.
I know they lost in overtime. But were they ahead and stuff?
They were ahead throughout the whole game. Like
the whole game.
The whole game. Okay, Golden State scored the first basket. And then we scored the second, and then we played defense and we scored another one, and then after that we went ahead. And the most we were ahead was 11.
So what happened?
Fourth quarter, it just stopped falling. It just stopped falling in the fourth quarter.
I still think they'll win here.
And then we tied it, so they went to overtime, and then they lost it overtime. Yeah, I think we'll come back and win here. Yeah. But I don't want it to go the whole 7 games. That's what's gonna, because the next one here is Tuesday, and then we go back over there Thursday, and then we come back here Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And we have to win 2 of those. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Today is the 12th, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll start now.
Okay.
So Melissa, tell me how things have been going over the last week or so. It's been about a week since I last saw you. And how are things been going?
They're okay.
You're doing okay?
Yeah. I was on call last night, so of course I didn't go to bed till 4.
This morning?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm gonna get called in. Now let me watch TV. And then so I think the last time I saw the clock was 4 o'clock. And then I fell asleep with the TV on. 6:30 I wake up and I'm like, did they call me? So I'm gonna check in my phone. Oh, they didn't call me. Okay. But then I was on call at 1, so I had to be. See, that call messes me up too. Being on call really messes me up. I just can't relax. I can't sleep. I can't even take anything for sleep.
Because what do they call you?
Right.
Does it happen often? Like, does it happen every time you're on call? Like,
pretty much.
The insomnia happens every time you're on call.
That's why I always try to get rid of my call. I'll tell somebody, I'll take your 7 to 11 if you take my 11 to 7, or because we take calls at 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so I always try to get rid of my call. I always try to get rid of my 11 to 7 or give away my call because it really it stresses me out.
It throws you off.
It throws me off.
And so how long were you on call?
7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
How many days this week were you on call?
I am on call. We are all on call about 5 nights a month. So 1 each week and 1 weekend.
Okay.
So like one Saturday out of the month or Sunday night out of the month. And then the rest of the 4 are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Friday. Monday through Friday.
During the week.
And even then I try to get rid of it, that nighttime.
And so over this past week since I've seen you, how many days were you on call?
I was on call. Was I on call last weekend? I would say, no, last week I was on call twice.
Okay.
So once the weekend and then today and then last week. So twice.
And so during those on calls, was it like that? Is your sleep pattern just always the same when it's on call?
On call. Mm-hmm.
And how does your body feel? How do you feel after your on calls?
Like
do you so you don't recuperate quickly? Like it's.
I mean, I do okay because I got to sleep until 12, and then I woke up and I felt fine, and so actually I did okay. But it's just when it's if I'm on call, it's just the next I knew I wasn't on call till 1 o'clock, so I knew I can.
You knew you had that chunk of time to sleep.
Like 6 hours I can sleep. I'm fine.
Okay.
And I was fine.
And do you find that you're able to go back to sleep?
Yeah.
Like there's not any issues with. So your being awake is not an anxiety thing like we had talked about before. Your being awake is thinking. Well, I guess it is kind of anxiety because you're thinking
about getting called in.
They're going to call me, and if I fall asleep and don't hear it, what's going to happen? Has that ever happened? Have you?
Yes.
Have you missed a phone call?
Yes.
Okay. What happens when you miss?
You're supposed to get in trouble. I mean, people in the past have gotten in trouble. It depends on who you work with because there's a lot of people like, Melissa didn't,
Oh.
Okay, this person that I was on call with, they call me at 5 in the morning. and I was dead asleep, and I missed the call. And I think she had called me several times. I don't know why I heard it the last time I heard it. I guess she called me again. It was like 5:30 or so, 5:45, and it was for a tonsil bleed. And they're like, "Oh, Melissa, you didn't hear me call?" And I go, "No, there's a tonsil bleed that went back, and it's gonna be coming out like pretty soon." So I'm like, "Oh shoot!"
Oh wow.
So I when I got there, the patient was already there. Now I was supposed to be there already
by the time to greet the patient.
Well, yeah, because you have to have 2 nurses, 2 RNs with a patient. But luckily, she got one of the PCAs. I mean, there's like we're separated by a door, pre-op and post-op, and so the aide just came over there for a little bit while I got there. Okay. But it could have been in other words, they could have made a big deal about it. And I told them I didn't hear the phone ring. I mean, what can you say? I didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah. And so that happened to you once. Has it happened since then?
No. But then again, I try to get rid of it.
Yeah. Or when you are on call, it's like you just don't lose sleep because you're afraid that you're going to miss it again because it's happened before.
It happened before, and then as I said, luckily the nurse was nice. She didn't make a big deal about it because they could have gone to my director.
Yeah.
Because that's like a big no. You can't miss a call, but. They were nice and nothing happened.
So it really depends on who you work with, like you said.
Depends on who you work with.
Who's there and stuff like that. How did that make you feel? Like
irresponsible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that would be the feeling for that. Had you... So that one time you fell asleep, you didn't hear the phone. Before that, had you experienced any of the anxiety that you feel like currently where you can't sleep, that you think that they're going to call you, you're going to miss it?
I've always had that.
It's always been that way.
Been there.
Okay. So it's not because it happened one time that now you think it's going to happen again.
No, I've always had that.
It's always been a thing. And I think I would probably be the same too.
Relax. I cannot relax.
Because you think it's going to happen.
Anything could happen. I mean, as I said, the tonsil bleed, a foreign body, other things that I don't want to mention.
That's okay. I don't need details.
You don't need the male details.
Okay, I'm not a medical person, so I don't want.
But anything that can happen that can be an emergency,
of course.
In the middle of the
and
night.
you work with kids, so that's even more.
Yeah.
I mean, not that an adult doesn't require the attention, but sometimes with kids they require that extra, the extra nurturance. And how are things going with your mom?
Great.
She's doing good?
Yeah, she's actually moving out. She moved out of my aunt. Well, she hasn't technically moved out totally. She started her lease on Saturday, so we started moving stuff into the apartment on Saturday.
So she's getting an apartment on her own? Is this an independent apartment? Like no, she's on her. It's not like a home or a facility or anything.
No,
it's just
and there are like my dad is in a, I don't know what it's called, but it's for senior citizens only, and it's apartments for senior citizens. But it's not like they. I mean, he's very independent, but they. It's very the rent is very low. It's like $5.75 and all bills paid.
Oh, wow.
For senior citizens only. And then he mentioned how there's like in the bathroom there's like a light that you pull in case of an emergency or something.
So somebody's monitoring.
I'm thinking so. I haven't even gone over to see it, but it sounds like it because he said that one time it woke him up and it was the lady next door. Oh. But she just pulled it accidentally.
Oh, so there's.
So I don't even know what they look like. So I don't know, but. I don't want my mom far away from me. My mom's like a minute away.
Oh, so it's close
30
by.
seconds, yeah.
And how long has your dad been living at his
like
apartment?
Maybe not even a year.
But close to a year, maybe?
Yeah.
And so why do you think you haven't gone to see him? To see his apartment?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. It just hasn't come up. We're not very close. Remember we talked about it?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Like, there was just not not an
He's
urgency.
mentioned, oh, you should come and see the apartment. Oh, yeah. It just never happens. He's never invited me officially over there. And I never said, Dad, I've never been either like, Dad, I want to see your apartment, It's just,
be home or whatever.
We're both just kind of like, oh, okay, sure.
Is he in your neighborhood? Is he close to you?
No, he's on Vance Jackson.
Oh, so he's a good distance away.
Yes.
It's not, it might even be a convenience issue that it's just not around the corner on top of the relationship issues and things like that.
I mean, he'll come over here and he does my yard and then I saw him the other day for like not even 5 minutes. He came to do my yard and I was getting ready to go to work. So like, okay, bye,
Oh, yeah.
You want some water, Dad? Yeah, okay.
Just a real quick kind of, but he's doing well. I mean, obviously he's still being able to cut the grass and
he's doing well.
Stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. So your mom's going to be moving out. That's got to cause a little less anxiety for you. Her cat's licking my phone on the counter.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's why I'm like, I hope she doesn't drop it.
She's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So having your mom, because you had mentioned before that there was conflicts between your mom and your aunt, and so that was causing some kind of stress for
Yes.
you. Is it kind of a relief now? I mean, she's not officially moved out, but is it?
And I said so. She's very excited about moving to her apartment. She went and said, like, I just like things the way I like things. I can fix up my own kitchen this way.
Yeah.
My aunt has it a certain way, and my mom wants it this way. And it's her stuff. I totally understand. It is her stuff.
Yeah.
She wants it her way, and my aunt wants it her way too.
And it's hard to live with another adult.
Yeah, so
it's hard. And then she went into your aunt's house, so
she doesn't feel like it's her
felt
house.
like a guest rather than a roommate or anything like that. Well, I'm excited for her.
So
I hope that goes well. Anything else that you want to talk about, or is there anything else going on?
Not really. On Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's
That's kind
Day.
of depressing.
It's
a little
Mother's
bit.
Day. Yeah.
And I don't know if I feel guilty for even saying this, but I shouldn't even look at Facebook, but I look at Facebook and everybody's always, and I don't want to say bragging because I mean everybody's proud of what their husbands do for their wives, but I have 3 close friends and all 3 of them put something about their husbands, and that made me feel bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't know if I'm jealous or it just made me feel bad, like, oh, and I'm happy for them, but I don't know how to explain it.
You're aware of the void.
Yeah.
You're aware of that absence of that stuff, and you shouldn't feel guilty for saying it. You shouldn't feel guilty for feeling it because it's how you feel. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way, and that kind of stuff is going to come up. So what is it that you did today when you were looking at that and it made you feel jealous or whatever it was that you felt? How did you get past that?
I just had to put it back in my head.
You just stopped
maybe
thinking
now
about
that I'm crying about it, but
because it came up. I mean, but before that, it had been in the.
I didn't start crying or anything, but I don't know why now. But I just. What could you do? I mean, what could I do?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
And your surgery was fairly recent. Is that correct? It's been within the last year. It's been within the last year.
No, it was a year and 2 months.
Oh, okay. So it's been that long already.
It was in March of last year.
Okay. So that's fairly recent still. When it's
I don't know, is it?
Yeah. Well, I think it is. I think that it's still fairly recent. When you think about grieving a loss, because that's what it was. Ultimately, it was your loss. Sometimes it can take years to be able to cope with that kind of stuff. I know my dad's been gone almost 20 years, and I can't look at a picture without bawling. And it took me a very, very long time to be able to put memories behind my mind where I'm not always crying or where some memory doesn't evoke a whole bunch of tears. It's a loss. And so what you're going through right now is very normal because you're grieving. So
forgot to put my phone on silent. Sorry.
That's okay. Some much welcomed comic relief at a time when it wasn't very funny of a session, but
I'm sorry.
But you're grieving, and it's totally normal. So just you have to go through the process of it. And and
I mean, I'm okay. I'm not like all the time. No,
I know. And I see you, and your affect is different. You're different. But
it's just today.
There's going to be things that are going to evoke that. If you have friends who are having babies, or if you have friends who are getting married,
and I do have
that kind of stuff. It's going to evoke those emotions.
Yes, and as I said, I have a friend at work, and I went to her bachelorette party. Was it last year? Well, no, because she's been married. Wait, when did I go to her back? She had a bachelorette party, and she was the only single one there at work. So everybody else is married or has been married, or has kids, whatever. So I'm the only single one, like no husband, no children. Mm-hmm. And so she was kind of like the only one, me and her. Well, then she got engaged, got married, and then is pregnant. So now she's no longer.
Fairly quickly, it was one thing after another.
Yeah. Oh, so wow. Now she is. I'm just the only one, like, totally single. And so the other day she was talking about the baby and how she's going to find out on Mother's Day what she's going to have, and that the doctor put it in an envelope, and she's starting to feel, talking about her baby. And I was hearing this, and she actually wasn't telling me. She was telling to other people, but I work in the recovery, so there's curtains.
So you were within earshot.
Right, and there was no patient here, but I was just writing stuff down, so my patient had already been discharged, but I could hear them, and I was just kind of like, oh. And that it really did make me sad. I had to go to the back and call my mom, and then I cried a little bit, and then I stopped, and that's it. So,
how did you? Does it help when you put it in the back of your mind? It helps you to.
I have to put it in the back of my mind if I'm at work.
Okay.
But as I said, I went to I called my mom, and I did cry a little bit, and then I just wiped my tears and was back at work.
So you got it out of your system long enough to be productive at work.
Yes.
And then how do you deal with it when you're alone or when you come home? Are you able to grieve?
Yes, I have my animals distract me a lot, as you can. So I really don't get too sad. I may a commercial may come out. No, not really, but no, I'm okay at home. I don't feel sad at home. So I think I've got too much to do. I come home and there's a routine that I do. You know, clean the litter box, feed the cats and the dogs, and start cleaning, start vacuuming, and then take a shower, and I have a routine. So I just drew, and then I watch my shows. I have certain shows that I watch, so they're like my mind is all occupied, I guess, when I'm here.
Yeah,
too.
And it's easier here because you have more control over what you think about and what you're listening to.
Yeah.
Because at work, I mean, you can't really hit the mute button when your coworkers or even Facebook. You have control over that, you know, and you can just get off of it. But
I didn't realize like my work. I guess work can be hard because also I deal with kids, and then then you hear some like I had a little boy, cute little boy. He was really cute. And I just one of those I just want to squeeze.
I just want to bite him.
And he woke up from anesthesia, and he woke up from anesthesia really nice, and he was really sweet. And well, he had a foster mom, or an adopted mom, and she was telling me that the mom, he was like the fifth one she had, and they were all at a shelter. She just left them at the shelter, and now they found out that she's pregnant, but she's going to keep that one because it's for another man. And so I hear stories like that, and I'm like,
it doesn't seem fair.
Here you are having this beautiful kid, and then you just give him up. She just gave him up, gave 4 of them up.
Wow.
Or 5 of them. I don't know what number she was, but the stuff like that I hear at work, and that's when I'm like, but of course they're at work. You have to be like,
you have to keep your smile on. And so, what kind of emotion does that kind of stuff bring up to you?
I get angry when I hear stories about mothers not wanting their kids or abandoning them or abusing them. Child abuse is another one. We get some child abuse cases at work,
but not many.
No, I mean the ones that are bad. I hear they go to ICU because we hear them in the OR and they're like, oh, this one's going to go to ICU. I mean, I got one child in recovery. I don't know what they had, but he was 1, but he looked like a baby. 1 year old, he wasn't even walking. Then he was 1, and he wasn't even doubled in size or in weight. Mm-hmm. His weight was, I don't know how, it was little, and the parents had shaved his head, and tried to pull the ear, and so hard that he had they pulled the ear off almost.
Wow. And
so I remember that baby was just so wanting touch, and so I remember that baby but that was before my hysterectomy. But even then, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
yeah. Because that could hurt anybody, whether, with...
But stuff like that gets me angry at women.
Yeah. So that's anger, when you see that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And when you hear the coworkers or you read the Facebook
posts...
That's
more sadness.
What do you see there?
I am really happy for her, because, I mean, and I told her, and don't think that I'm like, oh, I'm not wanting to know about a pregnancy. Sometimes I do stay away, I don't want to hear it, but then I'm like, when we're by ourselves, like, oh, how's it going? And I ask her about the pregnancy, and she'll tell me, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna find out on Sunday. I go, well, text me, let me know what she's having. And so she did. She texted me. It's a girl. That's nice. And I said, oh, everybody. I said, OMG, everybody at work was right. And I said, congratulations, I'm very happy for you, because I am happy for her.
Yeah.
So I mean, So, but it's all right.
But you still feel. I mean, you just feel it. I mean,
yeah.
And you're gonna feel it.
And then also, I have to think. There's also. I mean, not everything's so happy. I don't know if you know, there was a little boy that got run over by a guy who was going for his phone.
Yes.
In the neighborhood.
A couple months ago.
And it's my coworker. It was her son.
Right.
It's his birthday today.
Oh, on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm. And so she put up something on her Facebook, and I'm not on her Facebook, but it was on my coworker. It was on her Facebook, and she wrote this long thing about. Oh, it's heartbreaking. So that's another side that, like, okay, well, I may not have kids, but she had a kid
And
lost it. So I had to think. I did think both. You know, I felt bad for her that she had to be up on Mother's Day, and then he would have been 7. He would have been 7.
And her first Mother's Day without him.
Yes.
And then it was
because it just happened in January.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's got to be tough.
So I think it was just a whole around.
It probably just sounds like it's just a whole bunch of different things coming at you that made you realize what.
And I only spent like an hour with my mom
today.
Yeah, but I'm grateful because my mom sleeps. I had to wake her up at 12.
Oh wow!
And then we both don't wait. We both, and then I didn't go to sleep till like between 4 and 6:30. So I woke up at 12, and then I said, "Mom, I have to go to work, so get up. It's time. Let's go." And so luckily, I was able to eat with her, and then they called me in again for another case. So,
tell me a little bit about your spirituality. We haven't really talked a lot about that. What, how big of a part does spirituality play in your life?
Probably not too much.
Not too much.
A little bit.
Okay.
But I don't pray every day. I don't go to church. I pray every once in a while when I remember. Obviously, he's not that close to me. And it's more like, I need to,
I haven't said a prayer today.
I haven't said a prayer today.
Or over a meal or stuff like that. Because sometimes you see people who are, kind of encompass their life.
Yeah, it's not, I guess it's not that big a part of my life. I think growing up, I grew up Catholic. They did the baptism, first communion, confirmation. Mm-hmm. So I felt forced to go. So I did everything I was told when I went, everything I had to do till I was in high school. And after that, I kind of just, maybe it's the religion part, but I don't know.
And what I'm talking about spirituality isn't so much the religion part. It's how do you take care of your spirit? How are you taking care of your inner self? Because obviously on your outer self, last week you talked about joining a gym and you talked about eating better. Mm-hmm. Your hygiene's good. I mean, you take care of your outer self, but what is it that you do to find some kind of peace and comfort in your inner self? So when I say spirituality, I don't really mean religion. I mean,
I guess, I don't know.
Do you do anything for that?
Not really. I wouldn't know how to. I mean, would I have a problem? Do I talk to God or what? I don't.
No. I'm just because some people find that there's a balance in their world when they're well mentally and they're well physically and they're well emotionally, and then spiritually takes a big part of people's lives sometimes. And we have talked about the physical part of your life, and we've talked about the emotional part of your life, and so it kind of just made me wonder. I wonder what she's doing to take care of her soul.
No.
Of her spirit.
Probably nothing.
That's what I was wondering.
Probably nothing.
Is it something that's ever interested you? Like, do you know people that take care of their inner souls? And
we were having at work. We were having on Mondays, after work. We were having a Bible. A girl would read something from the Bible, and we would talk about it and how it pertained to our lives. Mm-hmm. So that was very good, but I always get emotional when it comes to stuff like that. So maybe I'm already emotional.
And I need to be more emotional. Did it pose a problem for you that you were emotional at work or in front of coworkers?
Yes.
Oh.
And then it kind of just died down. We stopped doing it, and I liked it. I liked expressing, talking about God and how He works and how He is in our lives. But it just kind of died off, to be honest.
So y'all just stopped doing it, like you don't know what happened. It just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
I can't do it this Monday, maybe next week, and then next week come around and I can't do it today.
We were too busy, or we were slow. I think a lot of times too, either we're too busy or it's slow, and everybody goes home early.
Oh,
so yeah. I know, like last Monday I didn't work, and I was scheduled to work, but they didn't need me, so I didn't go to work.
So had you been having the session still, you would have missed that one because you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something that you would say, "Oh, today's their Bible study, so I want to go in just 2 weeks."
And it's not even like long. I like it's not long. It's just maybe 15-20 minutes of just discussing.
A short discussion. And how did that make you feel when you were doing those?
Good,
yeah.
But emotional.
Yeah.
I don't know why I get emotional.
Do you know why you're? I was just gonna say, do you know why you're so afraid to get emotional?
I'm already an emotional person.
I know. But I'm just trying to figure out why it's so hard for you to get emotional.
At work, I don't want them to see me, tear up over,
So it's not that you're afraid to become emotional. You're just kind of guarded depending on who you're with.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you're not afraid of getting emotional. No. You're not afraid of getting in touch with those feelings or anything like that. Just depends on who you're with.
No.
I know the feeling. Okay. Well, it looks like our time is up. So I appreciate you sitting and talking with me about some of this stuff. I know that we hit some topics today that were just a little bit hard for you to discuss, and I want you to know that you don't have to wait an entire week to have session if you feel overly emotional and you just want to call in. You don't even have to come into the office. Feel free to just call and we can talk over the phone, because some of that stuff is pretty hard, pretty hard to take, and I can totally understand that stuff. Anything else that you wanted to discuss before we head out?
No, that was it.
Okay. Well, next week when we meet, we'll be reviewing your treatment plan, and there's some stuff that I'd like to change out because you show a lot of progress in some areas, and so I'd like to switch some of those things out. So, but we'll talk about it next week. I'll review it, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Alrighty, you too.
Híjole.